was
Okay, so this might be a little boring. We're gonna get the breakdown of the census numbers from the census people. Let's check them out.
331,449,281.
As of April 1st, 2020.
This represents an increase of 7.4% over the official population count from the 2010 census. This population growth rate is lower than the previous growth rate of 9.7% between the 2000 and 2010 censuses. In fact, the growth rate from 2010 to 2020 is the second slowest in U.S. history. The country's 7.4% increase in population this decade was only slightly more than the 7.3% increase between 1930 and 1940. For the regions, the South grew the fastest over the last decade, with a 10.2% increase in population, followed by the West with 9.2%, the Northeast with 4.1%, and the Midwest with 3.1%. The Northeast grew faster this decade than it grew between...
You see, the South growing like that is the reason why, like, the dude had the shirt on that was like, "Don't California my Georgia." But yet they want that sweet, sweet production dollar. All the movies and TV shows that are filming in Georgia now.
Between 2000 and 2010, while the other three regions grew slower this decade than the last. When looking across the states, we see large variation in population sizes. The state with the largest 2020 census resident population was California, with 39.
Texas has been growing. I almost moved to Texas, so fuck.
23. The state with the smallest population was Wyoming, with 576,851. However, the 10 most populous states each had a resident population between 10 and 40 million. While the 10 least populous states...
I really want to go to Austin because it's weird.
And 1.4 million.
I like concerts and live music.
The population of most states grew between 2010 and 2020. Utah was the fastest growing state, with an 18.4% increase in population. Growing
Utah! That I wouldn't have guessed that.
On the other hand, 3 states lost population, with West Virginia having the largest rate of decrease at 3.2%.
Utah! Largest percent increase was in Utah. I would have thought it was Georgia or Texas.
The population of District Columbia grew by 14.6%.
I bet it was a shit show trying to do it through a pandemic.
11.8% to 3.3 million.
What did you do for him? Were you going door to door?
Now let's get to the apportionment results.
I guess it was fucking...
The constitutional purpose of the census is congressional
calling, wasn't it?
Which is the process of distributing the members.
This is the reason I wanted to watch this. This is talking about apportionment and how it's going to reshape districts.
To each state's population. Since 1941, the law has specified that the method of equal proportions will be used to assign House seats to the states. And while the law does not require the Census Bureau to calculate the number of seats each state will get, we do it as a courtesy to the President. We apply the required method to the apportionment population of the 50 states, not including the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, because they have no voting seats in the Congress.
Hopefully that's going to change soon.
Population includes the number of people living in the 50 states plus the overseas population, which is a count of federal employees living overseas and their dependents living with them who are allocated to a home state. Since 1940, the regional trend with apportionment has been an increase in the number of congressional seats for the South and West, and a loss of congressional seats for the Northeast and Midwest. More specifically, since 1940, there's been a combined net shift of 84 seats to the South and West regions. Overall, the effect of the official 2020 census population counts on congressional apportionment is a shift of 7 seats among 13 states, which is the smallest number of seats shifting among the states in any decade since the current method of calculating apportionment was adopted in 1941.
Smallest number of seats
will gain seats in the House of
shifting.
Texas will gain 2 seats, and Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon will each gain 1 seat.
I thought they already had been charged.
7 states will each lose 1 seat in the House: California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. The number of seats for the remaining 37 states will not change.
Smallest number of
States that
seats.
have the most representatives in Congress are California with 52 seats, Texas with 38 seats, Florida with 28 seats, and New York with 26 seats. These 4 states,
Oh, wow. They're going to be charged with third degree?
each having more than 20 million people. And
That is a big deal. I don't know if they can make that stick.
seats in the House of Representatives. Also, each of the 6 least populous states will have less than 1 million.
Oh, aiding third degree. Okay, I thought you meant like murder third degree. I was confused.
After the first apportionment occurred based on the 1790 census, each member of the House represented roughly 34,000 people. Now, the average population size of each House district, based on the 2020 census, will be 761,169 people, which is an increase of 50,402 people per representative when compared to the average of 710,767 people per representative based on the 2010 census. And those were the first results of the 2020 census. We have taken the time we needed to produce the high.
That was actually far more entertaining than what I thought it was going to be. But that was good information. Also, good information is the fact that Biden is planning on raising taxes higher than I thought he was saying he was going to. President Biden in the next few days will unveil eye-popping new tax rates for the wealthiest Americans. I do not like Axios's framing of that because they're not eye-popping at all. You go back and look what tax rates were in the 70s or the 60s. These are not eye-popping tax rates. They are surprising. I will give it surprising. I was not expecting this. A top marginal income tax rate of 39.6% and a capital gains rate of 43.4%. The proposal, to be announced ahead of Biden's address to Congress next Wednesday, that's this coming Wednesday, is an opening bid for Hill negotiations. The combined state and federal capital gains rate could be as high as 52.2% for Californians. 52.2% for New Yorkers, and for Californians it could be 56.7%. Honestly, they never know. Practically and politically, the White House needs buy-in from Congress to pay for social spending for the next phase of its plan to reshape the American economy, the American Families Plan. Democrats close to the White House believe that the amount of revenue that the IRS can collect on capital gains actually decreases past a certain point, probably in the low 30% range. That means the ultimate capital gains rate could be well below 43.4%. Officials haven't yet made clear whether the capital gains rate would apply in 2022 or in 2021, which would allow the IRS to harness some of this year's massive equities earnings. Goldman Sachs sent out a research note last evening entitled "No Surprises in President Biden's Reported Capital Gains Proposal. We expect Congress will pass a scaled-back version of this tax increase." At least they're trying to play hardball. So many times with the Obama administration, they came out with like what they actually wanted first. Biden is also likely to raise more revenue from the wealthy by making changes to estate taxes. Biden wants to change the so-called stepped-up basis for accounting purposes and value assets when they are passed on to an heir, not at their original cost.